Okay, then.
To start.
Yeah, what's you?
Yeah, my name's Derek White, and I was born in 1939, and my mother was called Elizabeth Ann White, and her father was a barber, and he also had a connection to the barber shop. He also had furniture, so we had clients going in for a haircut and coming out with a chest of drawers. Yes, so that's very interesting. And on my father's side, quite a different story. That my grandfather, on my father's side, he was a maths tutor at Manchester University. He had a degree in maths. So, 1939 I was born, and my first memory was shaking my cot, and the year was 1942, and we were in the middle of an air raid, and my mother came up to see what I was doing, and then take me to the air raid shelter. As we scurried down the stairs, we could look out our window and see that Manchester was on fire, and this was very, very frightening for me as a little boy of 3 years of age. So we spent some time in the air raid shelter till that went by.
Was the area shelter in your garden, Dad?
Pardon?
Was the area shelter in the garden?
The air raid shelter was actually where a piece of land further down the road that was eventually bought by my father, and we built the family home on that site.
Oh, right.
Yes, and my father was absent during all this raiding because he was a soldier. He was called up, and I didn't actually know him. I didn't recognise him as my father.
Yeah.
Just as this strange man that when he had leave, my mother would take him down to Stony railway station. We had to get to the bus, and we would meet him there, and he'd come off the train with his rifle and equipment, and come home for two or 3 days before again being recalled. So I didn't get to know him really, and I didn't particularly like him, you know. He was quite strict really, so you know I was probably spoiled at that point in time.
Derek, where did your father serve in World War II?
He served all over the UK.
Did he?
He was a driver, and because he was a married man with family.
Mm-hmm.
He worked from north to south, and during the summertime, if he got leave, my mother would actually take me down to visit my father and watch him while they're doing the parades and the practicing. And sometimes they would call out, Soldier White, step out. He would step out from the procession and he'd come and join us. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So that's the father, yes. When I was old enough, I was sent to or taken to church on Sunday, and at age 5, I joined the infant school, and
what was that called? I can't remember.
it's St Andrew's church, connected to the church, St Andrew's Church. Yeah, that was in Hadfield, and I got very interested in anything electrical and mechanical, and this is things that I had for Christmas, you know. And as the years went by, I got to year 5, and I started to build models of any kind, aircraft very specifically, and that was one of my favourites, and I would do that when I had time. I attended secondary modern school though when I was 11, and I made good progress. I was encouraged to apply for technical college, and I was encouraged by our neighbours who had 3 children, and the eldest one, Graham, he already attended the school and told me all about it, so I was very keen to get into the technical business. So I joined the tech when I was 11, on the encouragement of the secondary school and of course my parents.
That was in Ashton, wasn't
It
it?
was again entry to Ashton. It was unfortunate. It was on a architect's entry point, which was a bit disappointing. But eventually, they observed my interest in engineering and extended my course to do engineering. It was also that made me very happy, and I achieved a good progress, and
So it was quite a journey though, wasn't it, from Hadfield to
yes,
Ashton?
well, we used to go down to the bridge at Hadfield Road and catch the bus,
No.
and used to go by bus and come back by bus, and
Did you not go on the train at all?
well, when I went to the tech, yes, after the bus, that was the alternative to go up to the station in Hadfield and catch the Guy Bridge, then walk from Guy Bridge to up to Ashton, up to the tech.
Which is probably about 1.5 miles, isn't it?
Yes, something like that, yes. And okay, so that was 13. That was 13, and my course was extended to include the engineering, and I stayed with that. And one of the highlights of that was to have one of the tutors who worked with the chap called the jet engine.
Whittle.
He worked with Whittle on the development of the aero engine, so he had a very interesting stories to tell, and he was a very, very keen chap, very interesting to get on with, and he used to organise the excursions to go down to a week's holiday in Devon. Well, we had to serve all the bits and pieces, cups and tin foil for paying in to make some money for this event. I only went once, but it was good fun. And so after that, with my interest in flying model aeroplanes, I applied to join Aviarose, and I got encouragement from the tech, and of course my parents, and I joined when I was 15.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Aviarose, and first time saw Jennifer.
Right, really? Yeah.
She used to walk past, and I've been working in. I joined Aviarose, and but for the first year, I was at entry level in the training college, and that was again very much up my sleeve. And then I started to work on the shop floor, which I saw you briefly, and then I transferred to the development and test department, which was really up my street, and you used to walk past that, all through that department. And I did that till I was 17. I was transferred to test department. I was 19, and then I left to go to Aviarose to work in a local engineering firm called for statics.
Right.
I was 19 then.
Did you apply to the RAF before that or after that? Cause
Well, in fact, because I worked in defence,
yeah.
I had a remission, you know.
Right.
Yes. But what was starting to happen then,
What do you mean by the remission, Dad?
it was excused entry.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I wasn't bothered, I know I'd have gone, but you know, they said, well, you're working in the aircraft industry,
Yeah.
we need you there, you know.
Right.
So, by that time, it was coming towards the end of the war, and airplanes were being taken in and scrapped, and they weren't building other aircraft, and so they were losing the school force, and I was one of them that had to decide to leave, and I left to go to a local company, this for statics. They were a very wide jobbing engineers. They did all sorts, but they joined with a company called PPI, Pressure Products Industries, and they wanted me to look after that side of it. It was pressure vessels, building pressure vessels, pumps and motors, anything to do with hydraulics and pressure. And I went to France actually to take equipment a few times, and also I went to Ireland to do some tests on the vehicles. I went to Queen's College there, where they had pressure testing equipment, and we used to test them there. And but that was rather restricting, and we were going into the nuclear age. And
Just before you go on to that, in Dublin, wasn't there an explosion when you were testing something or other?
yes, we had some events, but
Do
of a
tell.
minor major way that obviously it was considered a success if we found a failure. Better to find a failure then than when we'd sold this as a product, working and reliable product. So that was, you know, no bad thing. So I say that A.V. Rose. For statics till I was 29 when I met you, and we got married. And when I was 29, I met you.
Where did we meet though?
Yes, we at a very infamous jazz club in
Continue.
It was in. Oh gosh, I can't remember. It was outside Stockport.
Stockport, a very
Bredbury
famous
Hall.
Bredbury Hall
Yeah, it was in
nightclub.
Bredbury Hall.
Oh, it was a
in Bredbury.
nightclub.
It had been a very exclusive
Yes.
jazz club
Good.
where people went and were very serious and very dedicated jazz
Yeah.
people. They just
Oh,
Yeah.
sat there and
But
tapped their hands and that sort of
it was
jazz.
Sounds
only
sorry.
only on nodding terms with Jan when was that A.V. Rose, but there she was in
Bredbury Hall.
Bredbury Hall. And I said, didn't you work in Bredbury Hall?
Did you work at Avros?
Avros.
Yeah.
And you thought I said,
I thought he'd said, haven't you just got divorced? And I thought, who the hell's this? Yeah, coming up to
it's
me.
busy, noisy, you see, you know.
Yeah,
Sure.
I can quite understand that,
I
you
said,
know.
I beg your pardon. And then something prompted me to realise that, you know, maybe he hadn't said that. And I said, what did he say? And that's what he said.
Yeah.
Didn't use the
Yeah,
word
work
Avros.
yes, so I said, oh, I said, he says, you didn't know my name, did you?
No,
so-
never met.
I said, well, let's go and have a drink and a chat about A.V. Rose, and so we did that. So I ended up getting married when I was 31.